Thank you, Chair. Minister, I'm proud to say I grew up old school. And I'm proud to say that I'm a self-employed person in this country. And I can go back to times when, God rest my father, when we used to be going getting a few supplies, when he was getting supplies and we go into Limerick or whatever we were doing. And he always, before he left the yard, if it was supplies for hardware or whatever, he always gave your man that loaded the old trailer a few bob, a price of a pint, as they used to call it. And I've been self-employed. I've always taken on the decision that when it comes to Christmas time or when it comes to a birthday party, I'd always give somebody a few bob cash, a few bob look in our ways. When I was building, I remember I built a building in Croke many years ago for Micheál O'Connor, and when I finished the job and he paid me for the job I'd done, I gave him a few bob cash look. And what he actually said to me at the time was, "Do I have any change?" He said he'd like to hear his look. That's a tradition that was in our country. And that's a tradition that I am going to carry forward until the day I die. It's a tradition that we've always had. We have elderly people that have always went, it was their daily chore or weekly chore to go collect their few bob of a pension. They got their few bob, they went down to the post office, then they went to the local shop, then they went to the local butchers, they bought a few things, and if they wanted to go to the credit union and put in a few pounds, that's what they done. All you're doing with a cashless society is you're excluding people from going down even to the post office to do their business. You're excluding people to go into the local shops. You're excluding people from a tradition that Ireland had, that you went out and you met people and you done your business and you always knew what you had. Now we have seen in this country what the likes of Debenhams have done to people. When you would think that you were ordering online in your local store, you weren't, you were ordering from the UK. You look at Christmas time, Minister, and you think you're supporting the local Smith shop and you're getting a few toys. If you order online, that money does not go through the Irish system, it goes straight to the UK, and your presents or whatever comes in from the UK, is taken out of the society. We can see how many businesses have closed down in rural towns and villages because people want to go cashless. We have seen from the hospitality sector, where I was recently, went with my wife and we spent one night in a place because she had got vouchers for her birthday. And it was so we went, and I was talking to a lot of the staff that were there, and they told me since the cards came in and cashless, they're not getting tips anymore. They're not getting the tips that we used to go out, if we're going for a bite to eat, that we might give somebody a few pounds and thank them for their service because they might be on a lower wage. This is what, if a cashless society happens, will destroy this country and destroy people from a point of view of going out and meeting people. We also look at what the banks are taking on charges when it comes to you going in buying something in a shop. The charge goes on to the shopkeeper or whatever business is there, and it can be up to percentages of the transaction, which is actually taken away from their profits. I was talking to a person in a hairdresser's recently, and they told me that somebody got their hair done and they wanted to leave the hairdresser that was working a tip, but they had no cash on them, so they actually paid by card. And what happened with that tip, because of the card system that's there, is the employer gave the tip themselves, but had to pay tax on the tip in the card, because the person wanted to give them a tip. Cash in this country, as they call, cash is king. Cash is our culture. Cash means that we can be respectful to people around us. If a new child is born, we used to always have a tradition that if you met a person that had a new child, that you always put a few pounds underneath the pillow in the pram. That's a tradition. That's what we used to do. That's what people in Ireland do. And all the large companies that we've seen that are taking the money out of this country, closing down our small businesses, because, again, it's going into a cashless society. Well, I, as a member of the Royal Independents, am totally opposed to go to cashless society. We need cash, we need to recognise the traditions that were there, and we need to support the businesses that need cash. And we need to support the people that get the tips in cash, because the card systems, a lot of them do not allow for this, and people have to do without those funds. Thank you.